Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am ZBest. Today I'll be continuing my series breaking down every single mission in the new Sector 3 campaign personal missions. This one is Dravec Ambush. Let's get into it. So first of all, I'm going to re-emphasize the most important thing is to know which vehicles you can actually use for the missions. Tanks.gg is the easiest way where you can go into all tanks, scroll down, go to role. In this case, we're talking about ambush. So it's going to be support and sniper. And then you can see all the vehicles that you can use. Some key things to point out, there are a bunch of heavy tanks that you can use, even ones with armor such as the Kron. At lower tiers, you have the Basante C45 that actually has some turret armor, the Caliban, the low, T34. So just keep that in mind. The other way, of course, is in game you can go and filter again by role. So support, sniper, same idea. So now for the missions. Again, Dravec Ambush. The key with the Dravec missions is you need to do all of them twice. So you have to have 2 tanks that you're going to complete each mission with. And in this case, make sure this is the right size. I have some recommendations. So Ambush 1, score 8 armor penetrating hits and cause 3,000 damage. This one is something that I recommend using a high tier medium. T57, MBTB, Sturb, anything that has a lot of shells in a quick succession. So really I should say high rate of fire or autoloaders. Autoloaders are kind of high rate of fire if you poke and put a bunch of shells in real quick. Yeah, this one's pretty straightforward. Ambush 2, be the top player in your team by experience earned, cause 3,000 HP of damage. This does not have a win condition, so sure you can be top XP on a win. You can also be top XP on a loss. So if your team is having a really bad day, you can still complete this mission by just doing a lot of damage at the end of battle, and hopefully you've done more than the rest of your team. The ones I recommend for this, something that has a good XP multiplier. Tier 7 or 8 is also completely acceptable. These are Dravec missions. You can use Tier 7 and 8. You don't have to play Tier 10 or 11. Autoloaders are pretty decent too, just to get the damage out, Barask, Lorraine, things like that. Ambush 3, cause 3,000 HP of damage to enemy vehicles that are moving when hit. Barely moving counts. If something is just barely poking and then starts pulling back and you fire and it hits, that should count. So you don't have to have them full on the move. They don't have to be, driving across the map at a rate of not. No, it's just they can be barely moving. They can be kind of poking, or even if they're wiggling, it'll count. I just recommend a high alpha tank destroyer because then you don't have to hit as many shots while a tank is moving. Really, 3,000 with a high alpha, even 750, it'll only take 4 shots. So keep that in mind. For Ambush 4, cause 2,500 HP of damage while remaining unspotted at the time the damage is caused, or destroy one vehicle causing at least 1,250. You can kind of do either one. Both of them are not too difficult. Or maybe you do one of each. Do one with one tank, and then with a different tank, you do the other mission condition. I either recommend a high alpha tank destroyer, like a Grill, DBV, 114, 268, anything that's kind of sniping. If something, you kind of sit in a bush, you fire. If you get spotted after you fire, the damage should count. So as long as you're unspotted when you fire and then your shot hits, which should be essentially instantaneously, then yeah, you're fine. The other condition, destroying one vehicle causing at least 1250, an autoloader is typically best. So T57, MBTB, Phoenix, Foch B, something like that. Pretty straightforward. Ambush 5, destroy 3 enemy vehicles having received no prior damage to your vehicle, or destroy 2 enemy vehicles spotted by you. I think it's significantly easier to do the destroy 2 enemy vehicles spotted by you. My experience is it's not exclusively you spotting them. So if you and another, or you and 5 other tanks are spotting, and you destroy 2, as long as you are also spotting, it counts. So really, any tank, a medium or heavy, is best, just because you can be in a brawl and keep spotting and destroying the vehicles as you come across them. Autoloaders are helpful for all the kill missions. Ambush 6, cause 1000 HP of damage to enemy vehicles that remain unspotted when hit, or destroy 4 enemy vehicles of 3 different types. I just did the destroy 4 vehicles. I wasn't going to try to do all the blind shots. It didn't take too long because you can do tier 7 and 8. Remember, you can go low tier, or quote unquote low tier. We're not talking tier 3 or 4, but you can do tier 7 or 8, and it's way easier to destroy 4 of 3 different types, especially if it's an autoloader or an auto reloader. I think I used Project Ion and the Stone Sentinel, so the copies of Visante C45 and the Skoda T56. But you can also just play a tier 7 and deal with it. The 1000 HP remaining unspotted, it has to be fully unspotted. You know how if you're in a light tank or a medium, really actually any tank, but those are the ones that typically happens. You spot something, and then it goes dark, and then something shoots it when it's dark, and you get the assistance damage. Typically, it doesn't show right away, or it might not even show during the battle. It'll only show in the after battle. There's about 3 to 5 seconds where it's still technically your spot. So it's still spotted. That's why sometimes the mission doesn't count when you do that 1000 or whatever in a battle. They have to be fully unspotted, typically blind firing obvious bushes. High alpha tank destroyer is typically best for this because they like to pull back after. For Ambush 7, cause and assist a total of 5000 HP of damage. This is anything. Play something high tier, really straightforward. Nothing else to say there. Ambush 8, cause 2000 HP of damage to vehicles outside the view range of your vehicle. Typically, most of your vehicles are going to have 445, so you can use that circle to see what you need to damage. There's a bunch of maps where it's completely easy to just kind of skirt on the edge of that, and really with a high alpha tank destroyer, it is pretty easy. It's just 3 shots, so you get in position and then hope for the best. The one thing that I haven't tested, and is also possibly the case, you might get away with if your view range is very low. So you don't do anything to increase your view range. Maybe you can shoot at things that are even closer and it'll count. Ambush 9, destroy 3 enemy vehicles from a distance of 300 meters or more. This one seems very difficult until you realize that there are a lot of engagements where 300 meters is about the distance that you're actually firing at them. So just keep that in mind. Autoloader or high rate of fire is best for these. T57, Batchat, Burrasque. Again, you can play lower tiers, tier 7 and 8. Tier 7 and 8 are where you're going to be able to do these significantly easier than at tier 9, 10, or 11. Just keep that in mind. For Ambush 10, cause 2,500 HP of damage during the first 4 minutes of the battle. Games are pretty fast, so take advantage. This is one of those missions where it actually helps that the games are fast, because you just stick with the group, you go with everyone, and you do 2,500 HP. Autoloader is definitely where it will be easiest, but not guaranteed. You can also use something high DPM, or just play anything that you are comfortable going with a push and doing a bunch of damage. For Ambush 11, cause damage to immobilized enemy vehicle 4 times and cause 3000 HP of damage. Aim for the tracks, recommend an odd loader or a stirve. High tier, definitely. My experience is the tracking shot, if you did damage with the tracking shot, it also counts. So you can actually end up with 1600 damage in a T57 if your first shot tracks and does damage, and then you do 3 more to them. So keep that in mind. It's only 2 clips if you are good at aiming for tracks. And if someone else tracks the vehicle too, then that'll also count. Ambush 12, cause 4 times more damage to enemy vehicles than your vehicle's HP. This is something that is starting to get a little more difficult if you aren't very good at pulling out big games, but it's not anywhere near what it is for BlackRock yet, which is 5 times. The 4 times, Tank Destroyer has lower hit points. Recommend a Tank Destroyer for it. Tier 7 or 8 Tank Destroyer, that's what I recommend. Again, utilize the fact that you can use lower tiers. Ambush 13, destroy 2 enemies, causing at least 1250 of damage to each. This is one of those missions. Again, it's not as hard as BlackRock, but it can be difficult, especially difficult without specific tanks. You want high capacity all loaders. Typically, it's going to be significantly easier to do because 1250 is half the HP of a tier 10. So you're unlikely to do that twice if you're doing single shot, unless you're in a lot of 1v1 engagements. So T57, Batchat, the ASXX40T, Fosh B, Phoenix if you have it, things like that. Ambush 14, cause 5,500 hit points of damage or destroy 6 enemy vehicles. Really anything. Just this is easy if you are even reasonable at high tier tanks. You'll get 5,500 at some point in a reasonable amount of battles. Playing 10 or 11, of course 11 will make it even easier, but 10 is also very doable. As for destroy 6 enemy vehicles, you can do it at tier 7 or 8. Just again, remember, you can do tier 7 or 8 for this. Ambush 15, cause 25% of your team's total damage and cause 6,000 HP of damage to enemy vehicles. This is very easy on a loss because typically the enemy team does not have all their HP gone. So if they have, we're going to use very easy numbers, 20,000 HP on the enemy team, 25% of that is 5,000 hit points. And so if you do 6,000 of it, well, you've done more than 25%. And who knows, maybe your team has only done like 5K and they're still super healthy, but you were able to farm. Of course you lost, but you can still get the mission. So keep that in mind. Anyways, I hope this was useful to you. I have most of the other missions already broken down. You can check the other videos out, and I hope to have the rest soon. If you did enjoy this, feel free to like, subscribe. If you have any comments, suggestions, anything, just feel free to reach out in the comments or in Discord. Link is in the description. And with that, I'll wrap up this video, and I'll see you guys around.